that we had planned to have at 9 p.m. It does seem like political parties closer to the elections have now resorted to lies and what can only be described as dirty tricks. In Delhi, many citizens and voters received suspicious phone calls telling them that the BJP had taken their names off the voter list. The police registered cases about these phone calls and began to investigate, and we now understand from our reporter on the ground that the AAM Aadmi party has owned up to actually having made those phone calls. Also, the WhatsApp management and spokespeople in India have said that they are terribly concerned about political parties misusing the platform to pass on fake news and false information in a bid to polarize and win elections. Take a look.
On the debate tonight, the dirty tricks department cutting across party lines exposed. Carl Woog, head of communications WhatsApp, blows the cover. He alleges political parties are using WhatsApp as a tool and in ways it was not intended to. In another instance of alleged misuse of mass communication media, Mirror Now investigations revealed how the citizens in Delhi are receiving mysterious calls from persons claiming to be AAP members, informing the citizens that their names have been deleted from the electoral rolls by the BJP and that it will be relisted because of the sincere efforts of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal.
नमस्कार, मैं आम आदमी पार्टी से बात कर रही हूँ। अब तो वोटर कार्ड के बारे में आपसे 2 मिनट बात करनी। सर, आपने अखबारों में पढ़ा होगा कि बीजेपी ने दिल्ली में 30 लाख लोगों के नाम वोटर लिस्ट से कटवा दिए हैं। मुख्यमंत्री केजरीवाल जी ने ये लिस्ट इलेक्शन कमीशन से बहुत ही मुश्किल से निकलवाई है।
हाँ, मेरे पास भी कॉल आई 4 तारीख को कि आपके यहाँ संतोष देवी कौन है। मैंने कहा बोलिए। बोले आप संतोष देवी का नाम कट गया। मैंने कहा कैसे कट गया? बोले कि बीजेपी वालों ने कटवा दिया।
जी, मेरे पास भी कॉल आई है।
क्या कहा गया उस कॉल में?
उसमें बस यही कहा गया कि आपके वोटिंग, आपकी फैमिली के वोटिंग्स कट गए हैं। आपके हस्बैंड का, मतलब मेरे हस्बैंड का नाम लिया गया, रवि कुमार जी, और मेरा नाम लिया गया कि इन दोनों के हैं, बाकी मेरे एक फैमिली का नाम लिया गया। मैंने कहा हाँ जी हैं। तो कहते हैं इन सब के कट गए हैं।
A case has also been registered with Delhi police in which it has said that there are false calls being made to the citizens saying their names have been removed from the voter card.
The AAM Aadmi party later admitted to making these calls but defended its actions by saying this was because names of 30,000 voters allegedly went missing from the electoral rolls.
So as you know, 30 lakh voters their names have been deleted from the voter list in Delhi. This list had even been put up on the Election Commission website. But when Aam Aadmi Party started talking about the fact that so many deletions have happened, this list was removed from the Election Commission's website. And now we are making calls to voters across the city, the 30 lakh voters whose names have been deleted, informing them about the fact that their names have been deleted from the voter list.
As the general elections draw closer, Mirror Now asks, should the Election Commission of India crack down on mass communication platforms to ensure that they are not misused by political parties? Will the Election Commission frame new rules for using social media platforms? Let's debate.
Well, that's the question we are asking. Now, on one hand, we have WhatsApp, who's made a statement saying very clearly that political parties are misusing the platform of WhatsApp to spread false information and fake news before the next election. And they want to make sure that this platform is not misused because they actually fear being banned altogether. On the other hand, these mysterious phone calls that were made to citizens of Delhi with complete lies, saying that their names have been cut off from the voter ID by the BJP, knowing full well that the BJP doesn't have the power to cut anybody's name off a voter list. Only the Election Commission can do so. So the question is this. One, as citizens and voters, should we be more aware of the fact that our political parties are going to use almost everything at their disposal to fool us and manipulate us? Secondly, should the Election Commission now revise the way it looks at the code of conduct and revise the way it looks at social media? Joining me on the show, S.K. Mindareta is a former legal advisor to the Election Commission of India, Ritesh Bhatia, cybersecurity expert, Prateek Sinha, co-founder of Alt News that works at busting fake news. Ankit Lal, social media strategist for the AAM Aadmi Party, Bhaskar Ghosh for the BJP, and Sulaiman Mohammed Khan for the Congress. I welcome all of you to this conversation, and I want to start with Prateek Sinha. Prateek Sinha, obviously WhatsApp has become a very massive platform to be used really to pass on fake news. Now, while WhatsApp has made sure that we can't send a forward to more than 5 people at a time, there are broadcast lists available where you can make a group of 300 people and broadcast a message to them all at once. How dangerous is WhatsApp right now?
So, in case of WhatsApp, the number is not 300 actually, the number is 256. And that is the maximum number of people allowed either in a group or a broadcast list. Broadcast list has one limitation, that the number has to be saved on either phones. That is, I should have it in my address book and the recipient should have the address book in his or her address book. And that is when broadcast list works. But still, it is, the notion is that you can forward it into only to 5 people, but actually if you want, you can forward it to 1280 people in one go, because 5 lists equivalent to 1280 people. So it is definitely an issue, and a lot of political parties have set up have sort of received the numbers, the names, and they've asked people to save the numbers in their phones, that you will be expecting forwards from this number. So they also have the broadcast list thing set up. So I'm not sure how effective WhatsApp's steps are going to be, because political parties are going around it. Yesterday in the press release, WhatsApp has made several claims that they are working against automated fake news via software, etc. They are looking at various machine learning techniques to figure out, if they are using software to automate the abuse, and if they do that effectively, that will be a good step. But still, in election season, when there's so much at stake, it is the national election, political parties are going to put in a lot of money, and they will ensure that the propaganda reaches the last person in this country, the most remotest corner. So the problem is not only with WhatsApp. We are only fixing accountability with WhatsApp. We have to start fixing accountability through the political parties itself. For example, just today we did an article on the Namo app. Now we are talking about everything else. The Namo app itself has a social media network, the Prime Minister's app. And we did an article about how outlet called the India Eye, which we found links to a company called Silver Touch Technologies in Ahmedabad, which had actually created the Namo app, is putting out, this India Eye outlet is putting out misinformation every day, and anybody who uses the Namo app, the My Network section will automatically get broadcast from India Eye. There's no option to not look at this misinformation. So the issue of misinformation steps right from the top, right from the Prime Minister's app himself, and that is where the accountability needs to be fixed. That is with the political parties.
Yes, I want to bring in Ritesh Bhatia here as well. Ritesh Bhatia, for our viewers who might be uninitiated, what is it that political parties are doing when they misuse WhatsApp and social media and they put out fake news? They analyze our behavior on social media. What is it they're doing exactly? Can you tell us what is being done by these IT cells?
So basically, Faye, what these IT cells are doing, firstly, now they have booth level volunteers. Means that every booth they have a volunteer who has who has created various groups based upon the socio-economic data, based on their religion, and accordingly they are manipulating those kind of messages. They're tweaking those kind of messages and sending it to those kind of particular groups. So, for example, if the socio-economic status is quite high, they will send one type of a message. If it is quite a low income fellow, they're going to send it in another way, even in terms of language. Secondly, what they're doing is something called as WhatsApp blasters. So these have blasters, as Prateek was rightly mentioning, that in case if you're planning to broadcast, what happens is that if I'm supposed to broadcast it to you, you should have my number saved, then only you will receive it. But if you don't have my number saved, then what's the point? In that case, they use something called as WhatsApp blasters, wherein in 1 hour you can send 3,000 WhatsApp messages, Faye. So this is the kind of things that are going on, and they're also doing a lot of sentimental analysis. A lot of data is also being collected via the apps and all, and these are also being bought in large numbers. Faye.
Absolutely, and I want to, bring in SK Mindareta, former legal advisor to the Election Commission. Mr. Mindareta, the story that we ran in the beginning of this conversation, and I will ask our politicians to respond to it. Automated phone calls that citizens in Delhi received saying that their names have been cut off the list and they should be cautioned. Do you believe the Election Commission should take action against these sort of phone calls?
No, certainly the Commission must take an action, because this type of misinformation naturally causes a dent in our electoral process, and then it creates a bad impression in the minds of the people that the Election Commission is not doing its job. In fact, the Election Commission has earned so much fame that even in the entire democratic world, our elections are being treated as gold standard, and these people, they are just giving a wrong impression that the Election Commission is now succumbing to some political party and getting the names delisted from the electoral roll. That is very, very bad. Actually, our process for deletion of a name is so tight that the name of an elector cannot be deleted just on the asking of any person, leave alone a political party. Our booth level officers are there in every polling area. They give the information. If any deletion is to be made, that is made only on the basis of the report of the booth level officer. I am not talking of the booth level societies or other workers of the parties. I am talking of the booth level officers appointed officially by the Election Commission. They move from, they are basically living in the same area. So they know who is going out of that particular locality, who is coming in. So they give information, they feed information to the electoral registration officers, and on the basis of that report, the ER, electoral registration officer, issues a formal notice to the person whose name is proposed to be deleted. Then he fixes a hearing also. It's a very long drawn process, not merely just somebody saying you delete the name and so we delete it. That's absolutely wrong. And this type of misinformation being given by some people, that names of people are being deleted on the basis of some fake reports or complaints, that is very bad. And that must be put
in fact, let me bring in the politicians at this point. Bhaskar Ghosh, is it not true?
Taking some action.
They're taking some action. Yes. Bhaskar Ghosh, is it not true that the BJP, during the Rajasthan elections, the Uttar Pradesh elections, the Karnataka elections, put together massive IT cells that were analyzing people on the booth level, analyzing their social media patterns, and actually generating news stories from the IT cell and sending it to them? Because we sent our reporters to these IT cells. There's also a report from Reuters that showed dozens of WhatsApp groups being used to pass on information from inside your IT cell. Is it not true that politicians and political parties have now begun to spend a lot of money on these IT cells?
Let me first address today's topics. Is that what AAM Aadmi Party in Delhi, they are taking the help of this kind of rumors to be spread for deleting the names. I remember during their assembly elections, I heard that they have done this kind of tricks, so not with this, not with the WhatsApp family, but obviously in the reality, in those Juggi Busti areas, they have sent the bulldozers and start giving the rumors, rumor that BJP has sent this bulldozer to demolish all the buildings, and there will be fresh new buildings, and the Juggi Busti will be eradicated, will be uprooted. So I can see the Aam Aadmi Party's the electoral techniques and tactics is like that. Coming to the Karnataka issue, we have seen how the beef party and other things was held over there, and how it was Congress has really, doctored those videos where they are seeing the beef have been taken by the BJP leaders, and short video are showcasing the BJP leaders who allegedly consumed to endorse beef was amongst the amongst the contents of the Karnataka Congress latest online. So these are the things which Congress. But what we do from the BJP, we obviously we have a strong backup team of all
Didn't
those
you counter? Didn't the BJP counter that
experts and
video
all
with a
those,
beef biryani video that made fun of Siddaramaiah for not banning cow slaughter on the in the state? So I'll tell you what, Bhaskar Ghosh. While the Congress put out a video, you countered with a video of your own, and that has gone on for long enough. My question to you is very simple. If you could tell us, what is the allocation of funds, of party funds, to the IT cell and to various IT cells before the election from inside the BJP?
See, our IT cells primarily does the work of the research, the research work on state-to-state basis. They used to assemble all the information, analyze it properly, and then propagate it through different formats to internally to different states and our respective IT department. We don't spend any money for doing all these, all these rumors to be sprayed and all these nasty propagations. And we do it very constructively.
No,
so
but
that
Bhaskar Ghosh, didn't you put together an IT cell of 2 lakh people in Uttar Pradesh before the general elections? Haven't you put together an IT cell of 2 lakh people, an army, you've called it, an army of
our
IT before the elections? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, obviously it's an army, because they used to contribute their own privileged time. They used to contribute their time for the party. It is not a question of that we don't hire it and we don't pay for that. There are enough number of people. We have got 11 crore karyakartas, members. So we have plenty of members who can donate their dignified service for the party
so they're all
and for
doing
the
it
country.
For free.
We don't pay for them.
Okay, so you're saying
they are doing
these
for the
2
party
crore
and for the country. We are a party of Rashtrabad. 11 crore. We have got a party karyakarta.
So you're saying these 2 crore people are these 2 lakh people are working for free. All right. Okay.
Lack of volunteers.
Same question to Suleiman Khan. Suleiman Khan.
They are volunteers.
What is the Congress spending right now on its IT cells and its social media cells?
I think whatever the Congress party is spending on its IT cell or otherwise, it's very much there in the balance sheet of the Congress party. But I think Congress party is nowhere close to BJP. I'm saying this for the reason that from 2010-11, BJP was the first party to to capture this platform of social media. And in 2014, when the election started, Lok Sabha election started, they have completely dominated this social media platform. And we also know how IT cell of BJP has actually shared fabricated and fake news. Their own head, Amit Malviya, has been caught doing so a number of times. And what the Congress party is spending, I think it's nowhere. It's very much in the balance sheet. Secondly, I think now the first thing which has to be...
So tell us what it is. What is the Congress party
regulation
spending?
Of these trolls which are actually within the BJP.
What about the
Prime Minister himself
What about the recipe for the disaster?
Who are abusing
regarding
women,
the
activists,
Yogi
people
government?
Who are not of their mindset. No, listen to me. Listen
Gentlemen,
to me.
please, one at a time.
No, listen to me. Listen to me. The Parliamentary Committee on Information Technology, whose head is Anurag Thakur, BJP's MP, has summoned Twitter India's representative because Tejinder Bagga, who is one of the spokesperson of the BJP, and we have seen him a number of times trolling people on social media. He has filed a complaint that Twitter is having a bias against right wing or BJP. Therefore, Anurag Thakur, who is the head of Information
Okay.
Technology Parliamentary Committee, has summoned Twitter India. So this is
Yes,
what is
yes,
happening.
yes. We know that
A
story,
person who is
Suleiman Khan, but that's
suiting
not what
them
we're
or a
talking about.
platform, when it's
That's not what we're
suiting them,
talking
they are
about.
summoning
I
it.
want to know. Okay, so
now
if you're not going to tell us,
political
Suleiman
parties
Khan,
are also
you have to
coming
be,
on
you have to
that
answer my
platform, and I
questions
think
when
it's
you're
the
on the
most
debate.
democratic.
If you're not going to tell us
I'm
how
sorry.
much the Congress is going to spend or how much the Congress is spending on its IT and social media cells, tell us, what does the social media cell of the Congress party do? What does it do? What are its functions?
Social media cell of the Congress party, tell about what are the programs of the Congress party, what are different governments of the Congress party is doing, what is the policy of the Congress party, what is the ideology of the Congress party, what president and other leaders are doing. We are not spreading fake news. I think Congress party is the only party right now in the country which is fighting,
Sulmanji, what about
this menace
your great
of
video
spreading
of
of fake
recipe for
news,
disaster?
abuse of females and women journalists, activists, and people who are not in consonance with the ideology of the BJP and the RSS. So we are fighting that. And what we are spending or what we are not spending, I think it will be very soon will be reflected in the balance sheet of the Congress party. There's nothing to hide. We all know how much BJP is spending.
Well, I want to take this back to my guests at this point. Pratik Sinani, let me point out to our audience, the AAM Aadmi Party has decided not to join the conversation. So the AAM Aadmi Party will only join conversations that are convenient for them. They don't even have the humility to answer questions when they're caught on the wrong foot. And this is something you should realize as voters, that the AAM Aadmi Party will only come when they come onto a conversation when they have the opportunity to talk about another party and their wrongdoings. But if the AAM Aadmi Party has been caught on the wrong foot, it will refuse to be part of the conversation. Pratik Sinha, how dangerous are these IT cells right now before the next election? WhatsApp has turned around and said that these parties are misusing WhatsApp and they're putting out fake news. But how dangerous is that fake news? Because it's one thing to actually lie about your opponent, but it's another thing to put out divisive messages that make communities hate each other and make people hate each other based on religion.
So, first I would like to sort of answer a question that you've been asking everybody: who's spending how much? Now, the problem here is that the way everybody is working, I can name multiple. For example, there's a page called Nation with Namo, okay, and it has put out job ads on LinkedIn on its own page. Everybody has seen those job ads which says that this is a position till May 2019. This is a page over a million followers, and they're actually putting job ads, so they have the money. And if you look at the content that is coming out, it is very professional looking content, which is BJP propaganda. Now, who's paying for that? Okay, and there are multiple such pages which have been created where very professional looking content, videos, etc., is being put out. So the way the parties are working is that they have outsourced this to multiple companies. Now, Mr. Akhilesh Mishra, who was the former MyGov director, he runs a company called Blue Card. Now, Blue Card, we found that a director of Blue Card on LinkedIn had said that they have the following in-house blogs. The blogs were Know the Nation, The True Picture, and there were a couple more. And recently we caught Know the Nation circulating a clipped video of Rahul Gandhi. And there's another one called New India Junction that they run. And now, if you look at various Twitter trends, we are on various WhatsApp groups where this New India Junction, so they circulate Google documents for trending, that these are the messages that need to be posted, when they need to trend at a certain time. And almost all these Google documents that are circulated by the BJP IT cell head himself has a video from New India Junction. So you will never find a direct connection. It's impossible to prove that BJP and New India Junction is working together. But the fact is that New India Junction, this Blue Card company, is the same company which has put out a book for Man Ki Baat and other things, the Exam Warrior book. So there are deep connections. But what has happened is that all this has been outsourced to different companies. And that is where the Election Commission has to step in. It cannot just look at direct expense of the companies. It has to look at, how these multiple political consultancies have been outsourced, have been given jobs to do the political propaganda on behalf of the party. So that is where the money question comes into picture. Regarding your question about how dangerous it is extremely dangerous. For example, after Amritsar train tragedy, where a train ran over several Hindu devotees on Dashera, immediately a message went viral which claimed that the name of the driver is Imtiaz Ali. The intent was very clear that that because the driver was a Muslim man, he ran over Hindu devotees on a Hindu festival. Eventually, the name turned out to be something entirely different, some Mr. Arvind Kumar, and plus, it is not just the driver's fault. I won't even go into that, but that is the kind of dangerous, divisive misinformation that is put out on social media, and we have seen in the past that it has led to riots. It has led to riots, for example, in Muzaffarnagar, where video from Pakistan was put out and over 70 people were killed. So it is an extremely serious issue, the case of misinformation, especially the divisive kind of misinformation which is propagated on social media.
Right. So my question goes back to Mr. Mendiretha, former legal advisor to the Election Commission. Mr. Mendiretha, we have a code of conduct, a model code of conduct that politicians are to follow before an election. That code of conduct has been rendered completely redundant by social media, because what happens when a phased election is that someone is voting in one part of the country but someone is campaigning in a different part of the country, and what is loaded on social media is still available on any given day. Should the code of conduct be relooked at to consider the IT cells, or these monstrous IT cells that these national parties have built, the fake news that they're putting out, the lies that are being circulated, the money that is being spent, and the misleading and the manipulation of voters? Should the Election Commission at this point relook at all of this with a fresh lens to stop any sort of manipulation that might be happening?
No, certainly you are right. Election Commission has to feel concerned about what is happening. And model code of conduct actually talked about some other things, about the misuse of the government machinery and other things. But now this is a totally new dimension, and the Election Commission has to do something, because this fake propaganda, and particularly I am concerned where the Election Commission's authority, neutrality, impartiality is also put in question. I really feel very much saddened and pained, because the Election Commission's job is to conduct free and fair election, and I am sure we are conducting very nice elections, but still some people are trying to create a wrong impression in the minds of the electorate that may have in the long run the effect of derailing democracy in the country itself, because once the people start having some suspicion or doubt in the minds of the election machinery or the election authority, then it will have very dangerous consequences.
Well, in conclusion, and we've run out of time on this debate, and I want to thank my panelists for being here. Now, we've run out of time on this debate. I want to thank my panelists for being here. But in conclusion, it just boils down to this. So, while the Election Commission will do its best to make sure that there is no manipulation, we have to notice that the advent of social media, the advent of WhatsApp and Facebook and Twitter and also all of the other things that are being used right now against us, are actually sources to manipulate us. On one hand, you have political parties who are spending a lot of money, and they're refusing to tell us how much. Remember, political parties are not subject to RTI, so we can't even find out how much they're spending on this. They've created armies of social media bots that actually generate the fake news and then circulate it. During elections, we have noticed, during the state elections in the past, websites pop up that look exactly like your friendly newspaper, and they start putting out stories that are completely false. There are massive groups on WhatsApp where false news is circulated in order to get you to hate either a community, a party, or a person. The first thing we want to hope for is that the Election Commission relooks at all of this. The second thing is that we as voters start to look at everything, and I mean everything, including what you see on any television channel and any news channel. Look at everything with a little amount of cynicism. Look at everything as if it is already suspect. Do a little bit of your own research and don't forward things on WhatsApp unless you are sure that it is true. The only people who can stop political parties who are lying to us are us, the voters. Let's take back the power from them. Let's not be gullible enough to be manipulated. Let's actually say enough is enough. Thanks for watching.